Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, we will be creating the trip expenses screen. So as you can see, when you click on this card, user will be able to see the trip expenses. So let's create that file, trip expenses screen. Okay, and let's just create a functional component, save it, and let's add it to the app navigation. Trip expenses. Expenses. Okay, now we also need to add this in the home screen. So when user clicks on this card, he will be redirected to that screen. On press, we will need to use the navigation dot navigate to trip expenses. Okay, so when we click on this card, okay, we are navigating to trip expenses. Okay, let's style this screen. Actually, we will be using the all of the home screen design in this screen. So let's just copy paste the whole component. If I save it, it will look exactly like the home screen, but let's just change the name. Okay. So it's exactly looking like the home screen, but we need to make some changes. We will be removing this area and we need to copy that area from add trip screen, because we need to have a back button and a title. So we'll just copy this and paste it here. um yeah, we need to paste it here, and we need to import the back button as well. Okay, so we need to change this image, banner image as well. So let's just change it to 7, and we need to remove this background color, and let's just make it a little bigger like this. And we need to have a padding horizontally. Let's just add a new view and we'll move all the code into this view, and just copy and paste this view. And okay, so we need to add a horizontal padding. 4. Okay, but now we need to remove the padding of the each container. Like this container has margin, we need to remove this. And this container has a padding, need to remove this. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, so what else do we need to change? Need to change this to expenses, and add expense. Why is it the add expense smaller? Oh, it should be text Excel. Okay, so the next, let's change this message to you haven't recorded any expenses yet. So it should be expenses. And with this area, I think we won't be needing this. We need to remove this and we need to add a expense card. So let's create a new component, new file, expense card. Let's create a basic functional component and save it, and we will use it here. Expense card, it will auto import it, and we need to pass the item in the expense card. Okay, so we need to remove these items because we just copied them from home component. I've already copied some of the expense dummy data. I'll just copy paste them. So we'll have a ID, title, amount, and a category for each expense. So we are passing here. So let's move these columns because we won't be using columns. And let's what is this error? Column wrapper style. Okay, we need to remove this because we're not using columns anymore. This will be just a simple list like this. Okay, so currently we are showing three expenses. Now we need to design this expense card. So let's move to this component and style. We have ID, title, amount, and category. Okay, so let's design them. Okay, so this component will receive the item and let's add a view. This view is used for the title and the category. Need to also add the category as well. Category. And let's add a new view for the amount. Amount. Okay, so now we need a little spacing between the amount and the title. So let's add the flex clauses. Flex row. Justify between and item center. We need a little padding as well. So P3 and we need a background. Let's just add red for now and the corner should be rounded. Not full, but let's say 2XL. Okay, and I think we need to add a padding horizontal of 5. Okay, now let's design the text. Let's add the color from our theme. And the font should be bold. And just copy paste this to item category. And we need to make the text a little small. Text extra small. Okay. Okay. So we will not be using the background red for all the expenses. We need to remove this and we will use random colors for all the categories. So I've already copied some of the colors. So let's add them in the theme file. And these are the key value pairs for each category. So each category will have a different background color. So let's use them. We already have the item category, so we can use them to get the different colors for each list item. I category backgrounds, and we will use the category property, and like this we have different colors for each item. Okay, so now we just need to change the add drip text, and this component design will be finished. Let's just change this add drip text. Okay, let's add a new view here and let's just copy paste this. Here we will show the drip place. So let's just use the dummy name for now, drip place, and copy paste this, and this will be drip country. So let's just design them so they look good. Okay, this should be extra small and font should be font. We don't need this, and let's add a little top padding as well. so they align perfectly. Okay, so now we need to pass this trip data with the navigation object as well, because we need that in the trip expenses screen. So the way we can do that, we can pass the object here and we can separate the item properties here. So this way this data will be passed to the other component and we can use the props object to fetch that. Let's console log this props and see what data we have in the props. If we console log this, you will see we have a route property. Where is it? Okay, yeah, we have this route property here, and in the route we have params. These parameters are the data that we pass from the parent component, so we can use them to show the place and country in this component. We just get id, title, sorry, place and country from the parameters props dot route and params. Okay, now using these variables we can replace this dummy data and this will show the trip, place and country that we just clicked on. Tree, like this. Now this is showing the real data. If I go back and move to London Eye, this will show the data accordingly. Okay, so now that we've completed the trip expenses screen, we need to move to the add expense screen, so that when user clicks on this button, it should take him to the add expense screen. So we need to change the route from add expense, and we have already created this page, so when we click it, it takes us to the add expense screen. Now let's design the screen, and we need to copy paste the add trip screen design. So we just make some changes to this design. If we save it, it looks add trip screen. Now we need to change some text. Add, this should add expense, and let's change some variables. We won't need place and country. We'll be using a title and amount. Let's change the setter functions as well. Set title and set amount. Set amount, and we also use a new variable here, category, because user need to be able to select the category for the expense. So, and let's change this function to handle add expense, and we will check for the title and for the amount and for the category. So if these three present, then we will go back to the expense screen, and we don't need to navigate to home screen. We just call the go back method here, and this will take us back to the expense screen. Also, we need to change these variables from the input. So set title should be amount, and set amount, and change this text to for what. This should be the name for the expense and for how much money you're going to spend on this expense. Okay, and this method should be handled at expense. So now we click on it, we don't have any errors. Okay, so let's create a new view, and this view will contain all the categories, and so that user can select the categories for the expense, and this will be saved in that expense. Okay, so let's add a little spacing around this container. Use those margins, space xf2, and here we will show the categories. But let's design this category text as well. Mm. class name, because we need to match this for the upper inputs, just like that upper inputs. So text watch and text board. Okay, here we will use the categories, and we need to have some dummy values for the categories. We need to add a file in the constants, and this will hold the data for categories. These are some of the categories. You have a title and the value for each category, so we will just use them here. Categories. Why is it not importing? um, let's just use this and import them manually from asset. No, it's from constants index, and we need categories. Okay, we need to loop through them and display each buttons for each category. Done. So this should be buttons, and these buttons should be wrapped inside a touchable opacity, so like this. And we need to add the text, and the text should contain the title for each category. Sorry, title, like this. Okay, we need to have a key for each item, so let's add the key, and key should be category dot value. Okay, let's design this category. Let's design it so that it looks like a pill shaped button. Background white and little padding 3, and we need to flex them. Flex row, and we need a class for flex wrap as well, so there's don't overflow, like this. And we need a margin bottom and margin right. Okay, so now we need a background color for the selected category, so that when user clicks on a category it will have a light green color. So for that we need to save the category when user clicks on it. So let's add a on press function on this button, and this will set the category. Set category, sorry, set category to category dot value, and we can use this property to check if the current category is selected. Then we can change the background color. By default it will be background of white. You can use the tailwind class, and if the category matches to the selected category, then we need to change this to light green. Background of green 200. Okay, now we can add this to the class name. For that we need to use a backticks, and we'll use $sign to add this variable. Like here, and let's move this background white and add the background color. Okay, now when we click on it, the selected category has a light green color. Okay, so this component is almost finished. Let's change this button text. This should be add expense, not add trip. Add expense, and if we click on it and we have all the properties, it should take us back to the expense screen. Let's say bought a phone for $1,200, shopping, add expense. It takes us back to the home screen. And the last thing we need to change is the banner image. We already have an expense banner. Let's add that. Okay, so this screen is finished as well, and this is it for this video. In the next screen we will add a sign in and sign up screen. So see you in the next video.